All right, it is knife time. Once again, it is upon us. This Monday morning. Looks like it's going to be a pretty decent day. We didn't have a knife time yesterday as it was a very beautiful day, and I was out and about on Lana and exploring the world and got to see some very cool stuff yesterday and share some cool stuff with one of my dear friends. So that is really cool. And boy, by the time I landed home and had a snack, I kind of just napped out and figured today's another day. So here we are with our knife time. And this is going to be part 4 of our SZCO BOWIE build. We're going to get into that. But first, we're going to have a visitor in this video. I commented a few videos ago. I don't even know what one it was. It was like my cousin had got me this really cool little anvil lanyard bead, and it was like an official buck lanyard bead. It's this little anvil, and I always really liked that, but I didn't think I had a buck that had a lanyard hole, I said. And I was digging through stuff, and I found this here, brand new in the box, that my old boss had given me, buck Spitfire. And I was like, well, what do we got right there? A lanyard hole. Look, I can see you. I see you through the little hole. Dude, the 420 HC 3 1/4 inch blade, 4 1/4 closed. It's fully ambidextrous. It has a lock back blade, which is rock and roll. It's fully ambidextrous. It has a 4-way clip, you guys. And this is like a sleeper, you know. I'm sure a lot of people know about this, but I've had this in my collection a few years. And I was like, well, hey, one of these days I'm going to carry that. But I think now's the time. Now I have to find where I put the little bead. I think it's in my safe. But yeah, so this is our little guest knife for the video. I'm going to see how this works. I'm going to carry it for a little bit, see how it does. But aluminum scales with a red spacer. They come in different colors. I think there's a silver one, there's an orange one. And these are made in USA. It's the 722 model, Buck USA, and these are $50, $49. And now just looking at the Buck side, I didn't see if there was like a discount place that has them for cheap or anything, but man, that's kind of a cool Buck take on a Spyderco knife for $50. And it's very slim. Pockets away nicely so far. Like I said, I've been carrying for 10 minutes. I like the way it feels so far. I'll do another blip back on this, and I'll let you know how it goes. But yeah, it's a little sleeper knife, man. Hollow grind, very sharp. Critter shaving. All right, let's get to this. All right, so we're gonna get into our article because after I get a sip of coffee. Best part of waking up. Bookmark. That's all it's good for. Can't get nothing for $1. All right. So, hold on. We'll get to reading there in a second. I had to find our place. Our blade is the shape it needs to be. First off, we started with our guard. We got our guard down to, you know, I never even measured mine. I just got it to where I thought it was nice. And mine turned out to be oh goodness, mine's 3 1/4. So mine's like a 1/4 inch over what the magazine calls for, but I'm leaving it because I like my little mini S guard. I like that. That's kind of like a signature of this knife for me. So yeah, so now that we got our guard where it's supposed to be, which is between 3 1/4 and 2 7/8 inches, then we took the meat off the top of the blade, took off about a 1/2 inch up here, so it's 1 7/8 at its widest point. Then we lowered our tip about a 1/2 inch, give or take a little tiny hair or whatever. And then we roughed in our sharpened clip point. And now we are at handling the handle. And I did a few little strokes of the file just to see how it was going to be doing. And now we're going to get into the words of the man himself. Now that the guard is sensible and functional, and the blade is working as it should, let's concentrate on the handle. The handle feels lumpy and clumsy because it's blocky on the sides and far too thick. Every person has his own preference as to how something should feel in his hand for it to be comfortable. Use the file to thin and round the sides and ridges of the handle until they feel comfortable to you. To maintain the integrity of the knife, do not remove the handle hook. Otherwise, it's your knife and you should work it until it fits your hand. Don't be afraid to remove material. There's plenty there to play with. Stay with it until the knife feels right. Continue on page 98. Magazines were the best. All right. A suggestion is in order about following directions. So those of you who are feeling creative need to listen up. Perform the modifications in the sequence listed. Do the guard first, then the blade, and lastly the handle. The guard is big and clumsy and should be done first so the rest of the knife is accessible. Do the blade next because with the blade finished, the material you remove from the handle serves as a means of altering the balance of the knife. If you do the handle and then the blade, it is harder to arrive at the proper feel the knife should have. Your modified knife will not perform as well as a custom blade made by a good knife smith, but it will give you strength and cutting performance superior to knives costing much more. It's tough, better balanced, and takes and holds a very good edge for the price. And, like we've said, all the modifications listed can be done without power equipment. The knife shown with the modifications was done using only hand tools. No attempt was made to buff or polish out any tool marks or scratches. With a little additional time and effort spent on spit and polish, the modified knife could be made to sparkle. Those are the words of the late, great Bill Bagwell himself. So there you are. There you have it. It is free to do with it as you will. One more feature I'm going to put on my version that you would like to consider is Google a picture. The original Western Bowie had this weird like slant and then a notch at the base here. I'm not going to do the slant, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to take my old metal furry rat tail file and I'm pretty sure I'm going to put me a nice notch there at some point between, a little bit before the edge. I'm going to put me a nice little notch in there, just as a nod to the Western Bowie. So with your edge taped up and everything safe, you could put your knife in a vise to work it, which I will do at some point. But right now I've been using this file actually. I'm not going to do too much file work. I'm going to just shape it a little bit more. I'm going to make mine rounded. But just take your time. Like I keep stressing that because like I said, you don't want to be this far into the project to be like, yikes, what did I do? But on a note, you can, if you fuck these up, you can scrap them and pop whatever you want on here. I mean, it's a little bit more work, but you can, yeah. And if you are a more mechanically inclined slash hobby shop type person, if you want to change up the handle material on this project, you could do that as well. I might do actually another one of these one day. I just want to get this one done because I get like OCD locked on a project, and I got locked in on this project. I haven't been able to focus on anything else, and I need to start making money knives, and I need to finish up my my hand forged fighter I was working on and showing some pics and some video clips of. I need to finish that one up. And I'm going to be making some other little cool trinkets and type stuff. But here we go, guys. Just take your... And you know what? I'm using a fine file because you know what? The rougher tools you use on this, the more work it's going to be to make it smooth and nice. And I have a plan for this blade. I will be showing part of my process of how I'm going to be doing things. And keep in mind, once you get this shaped how you want it, you know, you could YouTube some videos on proper prepping and stuff for staining, but you could stain this handle whatever color you wanted. You could do whatever you want. I'm personally on this handle, I'm gonna do the tried and true and ancient Japanese method of Soshujiban. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but basically you burn and wet the wood at the same time till it gets a nice blackness to it. And then part of that process is you put beeswax in the wood when you're all done. And I do that with most wood things that I create. I always work beeswax in there, sometimes some Obenos LP. I know you're like, hey, Uncle Junk, this is a bargain project. So Obenos LP, you know, a tub of that's $20. That's almost as much as a knife. A cheap way to get you some beeswax to put in your finished handle to protect it and keep it like living as long as it can. Go to a hardware store and get a beeswax toilet ring that's used for sealing a toilet to the pipe that goes in the ground. Yeah, that's the cheapest way to get yourself a good chunk of beeswax. And yeah, and if it like, yeah, you could heat it up, make it liquid, rub it on stuff, use it as a paste, a film, whatever. Pro tip, pro budget tip there. But yeah, I'm not going to go too wild on this. Like I said, I'm going to round it a little bit. Like my Bark River V44. That knife is surprisingly lively for having such a large, broad blade. And I attest that to the round handle it has. I am a fan of round-handled knives. For handling, for messing with, I love a round handle. The center swell and such is fine, but like just the overall shape of a handle being round and straight is best for me. But we're leaving the hook on this. Like the Glock 81 field knife or the 79 field knife, which either one, they have the same type of handle. That's a really good handle. that just gave me an idea for a future knife. So here we are, guys. I appreciate you taking this journey with me of the Bagwell Battle Blade BOWIE that we have built together. Like I said, I'll be showing a few little fit and finish things I do. Like I'm going to be taking some 220 sandpaper and working this guard, rounding it a little bit. I'll polish it out. I'm thinking of darkening this, like, not artificially, like there's ways of darkening brass. So I'm thinking about maybe darkening the guard, but I am going to blacken the handle. I'm going to blacken the handle and then beeswax it really good. The blade, I'm not sure. I'm going to do that notch. I'm going to polish out any scratches I put on the blade during the process. I'm going to smooth out any of the file marks. Probably polish the blade up. About 400 grit. And then I may, even though it's stainless, I may darken it with a process. And if I do that, I'll go into how I do that. But there it is. Once I get the handle shaped and everything done, I will be doing a final video of like, here's our final Junk Force Fighter. But yeah, we did it, you guys. Let me know in the comments how yours are coming along. Like I said, if you have any questions, you guys, there's a lot of ways to get a hold of me. I'm always down to answer questions and help somebody with a project. It's good to be creative. And yeah, this isn't our last project. It is the first, but it's not our last. And this one ain't finished. You're gonna see it when it's finished. But this is our official part 4 final. You know what to do. Shape this up. Get it how you want it. If you have any questions about any of this, like I said, let me know. And I will reach back out. Have a good Monday. I'll probably be posting something else later. And I'll catch you then. Watch your top knot.